Like I promised in the last episode of How's the Josh, that in this episode I will be joined by two authors that have published their work with Mrs. Panjrat's publication house. So we have Dr. Ayush. Hi, Dr. Ayush.
Hello.
And we have Karunya.
Hello.
So as you can see, Karunya is a very, very young boy. Let's start with Karunya. So Karunya, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
16, and you already have your first book published.
Yeah.
So can you tell our viewers what your book is all about?
Yeah.
And this is your book?
Yeah.
The Forgotten Quest.
Yes.
I got it published when I was just 15, and I just entered my 10th standard actually. And this is a fiction thriller, action thriller basically, and it's about an orphan who tries to find his roots, and he finds himself in the jungle, and he figures out about his tribal roots. So that's what it's basically about his destiny and what he's supposed to do in his life.
So how long did it take for you to write this?
It actually didn't take me really long because I had the story in my mind. So it took me about 3-4 months, I'd say, and I had a lot of time at that point because the first lockdown had just been enforced. So I was free, and I didn't have anything else to do. So I just wrote. Yeah.
Okay, but that's such a nice way of spending your time.
Yeah,
to be
actually,
writing.
yeah.
So you want to become an author when you grow up, write more books?
Right now it's more of a hobby for me, but I will say, because it does make me feel happy writing, and it's a good profession, I feel. But let's see what happens.
How it goes.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you wrote it,
Yeah.
how did you decide that you have to get it published? Or your parents told you, they suggested?
Yeah, they actually did help a lot with the publishing process, and they're the ones who found Auntie.
Found Auntie?
Yeah.
Okay.
They found the publishing house, and they looked for it, and they approached her, and so they mainly helped in the publishing process a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you read something, a portion of it which you really like?
Yeah, sure. It's just. Yeah, so here goes. The next day began as usual for the song. He walked towards the common bathroom when he woke up, only to find no water. He had expected that to happen, but had still checked due to a small flicker of hope in his heart. People usually manage to find some hope in the least favorable of things, and although they probably don't want to, their hearts keep them from ignoring it, no matter how small it is. And that's one of the parts I
So
like.
who's your favorite author?
I actually don't have a particular favorite author, but I do like some thriller authors like Dan Brown and Stephen King and John Green.
So what did your friends say when they got to know that your work is published,
Uh,
that now that
Yeah,
my friend is a published author?
they were actually really happy and supportive and proud of me that their friend was actually an author, and they really encouraged me and congratulated me a lot on the book.
Did they try to
Yeah.
learn from you? How did it happen, your entire journey of
Yeah.
being a young author?
Yeah, they did. They still say that they're inspired of me, and they do think that I help them figure out about their own talents and encourage them to do something about it. So I'm glad I helped them too in a way, and they've also been really supportive. So that's great.
How lovely. All the best.
Yeah,
And thank you for
so
joining.
much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay. So coming to Dr. Ayush. Dr. Ayush, I remember your dad is from the army.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how the army connection happened for you when you got to know about Mrs. Panjrat?
No, actually, my father was in the MES. He retired as Chief Engineer, Shillong Zone, Air Force. But with Ganev, actually, I'm meeting her today for the first time, actually. But Ganev and I connected because my school friend of Loreto Convent, Delhi, she knew Ganev, and her husband is also in the army. And she was a writer of Hindustan Times, a very senior writer. Her name is Soni Sangwan. And Soni and Ganev were friends, actually. And Soni being my schoolmate, I was living in Lucknow for around 20 years. So just I met up Soni for coffee, and I said, this story is in my mind for a book, so I'm not getting courage to write it. So she said, no, you just send me the chapter, any one chapter, and I'll just see how your flair of writing is. So I sent her that chapter, and she loved it so much, and she said, no, you must continue, don't stop at this chapter. And then the lockdown was sort of a mini blessing. it gave me a lot of time because as a doctor, you know, I'm working in a dental college as a head of department. So there's no time at all, like managing the whole department and the patients. So in that lockdown, our college was shut down for a year and we were at home. So we used to make a lot of dishes and cakes and cookies, baking all kinds of things. But then I got a lot of time after that also. So my family also encouraged me. They said, Mama, why don't you complete that book? And Soni auntie also you've met and she's also encouraged you. So then I used to just lock myself in the room. I used to say it's now or never. If I have to write the novel, I have to write it now, otherwise I'll never get time again. फिर कॉलेज स्टार्ट हो जाएगा and that whole thing will go on
ये
again.
पूछना था, ये जैसे मूवीज में दिखाते हैं कि जब वो एक ऑथर लिख रहा होता है तो वो कहीं जाता है और फिर वो ऐसे एकदम
पहाड़ों में
या फिर नेचर के पास में या फिर you know, does it really help or when you have to write it just you know flows out?
Yeah, actually I think it does help because if you have that environment for any thought to come out or for that flow to come, I think you need the proper environment. पहाड़ वहाड़ नहीं भी, but I think at least you need a room, proper table, proper stationery and all that. वो तो चाहिए होता है, and little peace of mind. I think lockdown में, although a lot of tragedies it happened, I know that, but still it was for writers like me, it was a blessing because I would never get that tranquility, that space, that time, and that you know your
That
thoughts are
mental
not
peace
cluttered.
which
Yeah,
you were at.
your thoughts
Okay.
are not cluttered at that time. You are a little focused at home in your comfort zone. So I think that was a mini blessing for me, and then the chapters just flowed and flowed from there. And by the end of the lockdown, I was finished. And then she said, I said, do you know any publishers? Then she said, Ganev is a very good friend, so I'll connect you with her. And then that's how it started. So
Can you tell us something about your book and read?
yes, definitely. My book actually is a domestic thriller.
Domestic
Yeah,
thriller.
it's a domestic thriller. Like everyone lives in this house, but what is everyone's story in that house? Nobody knows. Just say we are all staying in, for example, this house, but everybody's personal story किसी को नहीं पता.
कहानी घर घर
So yeah. So I grew up in a joint family with my maternal grandparents and with a lot of cousins, a lot of uncles, aunts coming in and out. So little inspirational from that, but it's a little thrilling in the sense that when you read the stories, you will know that what it's all about. But it's an adult thriller.
Okay. Can you read something?
Yes, definitely. I will. I'll randomly pick because
Yeah, please.
all stories are equally.
So these are short stories.
Yeah, they are short stories, but they are
related to each
interconnected.
other?
They are interconnected.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read chapter 20, Radha's Nemesis. Radha looked at the walls of the room blankly. Did she miss her mother? Sure she did. The early morning ritual. Mom waking her up, getting her ready for school, the warm milk and cookies, the ironed uniform, the maid bag and bottle. Meera would make sure her diary was checked, the work done and signed and assignments finished. Radha's school would always ask for donations. For fete, for charity, for the new swimming pool fund, or for no particular reason, the school needed to be upgraded. It was an old convent school of Delhi and needed to be upgraded all the time. The happiest time of the day for Radha was when she was in the school. The nightmare would begin as soon as she would get home. Her brothers Keshav and Chaitanya would lure her with excuses, with sweetmeats, sometimes with nothing at all. Radha did not understand their actions or the way they would lure her into their dirty web.
So you now plan to continue to write?
Yes, actually I've got a lot of inspiration from Soni and Ganev. They are telling me not to stop here and to start with the next one. I have written a few chapters of the second book as well, but I
Wow.
guess it'll take some time before
All
that.
the
is
best
done.
to you for
Thank
that.
you so much. Thank you.
What is it that is there any message that you want to give women who think that शायद बहुत सारा time चाहिए होता है, बहुत सारा me time चाहिए होता है to become an author.
Right.
You
Yeah.
did it while the COVID was on,
Yes.
while doing everything at home as well.
Right,
You
right.
still managed.
Yes, yes.
So,
Actually, now the COVID is gone and now I'm working full time again in my dental college. But I will take out time and whatever time in the evening I have, you have to keep your mind focused and you have to be determined. I guess that's
you
the
have to
message.
take our time for the passion.
Definitely, definitely. There has to be, because you know, passion comes from inside. Okay, treating patients and all, that is my profession. But there's nothing passionate about that. But this is like from my inner self it's coming. So I think I should keep the fire going.
You must.
Yes.
All the best.
Both of them owe it to their authors now. You know, once a published author, you should always continue writing.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yes,
Continue. So, Kamya, tell me, what do you want to tell, kids of your age?
Yeah, I'd say if you have something in mind, if you have a passion, if you have a talent, and if you do want to do something and you're not sure, even if you're not sure about it and you feel like you don't have time or you're not sure about basically, you can still try to go about it and try to find some time and pursue it, because if it makes you happy, then there's no better profession or no better hobby than it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Panjrat, I want to ask you any message that you have, someone who has, met so many authors, and so many people who are watching probably want to be authors. Anything that you want to tell them?
I would just say one thing to sum it up. If you have a dream, live it. If you have a story, tell it, share it. That's the way to do about it. Thank you.
Beautifully said. And मतलब बहुत कम में आपने बहुत कुछ बोल दिया. Thank you, Mrs. Panjrat. And thank you all for
Thank
joining
you so
me.
much. Thank you for having us.
And thank you so much to my viewers. In the next episode, I will be joined by Fauji's wife, who has an entrepreneurial journey to share. And this was a lovely episode because I got to know that if we have passion, we surely can take out time. Keep the Josh high. Do subscribe, comment, and share my episode. I'm Aarti Karthik, and I'll see you soon in the next episode. Thank you so much.